Okay, so hi, I'm Joe Ramsey. I'm a singer-songwriter from the northeast of England, Middlesbrough, to be exact, tier three, as all the rest of the north is. I've been, I guess I've been doing stuff musically since around the ages of 17, 18. I was in bands, and then I started writing for myself around 2021. I'd say I'm like indie folk, singer-songwritery, indie pop, that kind of genre, that kind of like direction, I guess. In terms of like achievements and stuff, played some great festivals around the northeast. Hit the north last year was a big one. Stockton Calling, which is obviously such a great festival. I think the most coveted one in the northeast. And yeah, I've played up and down the country, and I just want to kind of I just want to kind of once everything's back to normal, continue on that in that same vein, if you like.
Cool. Let's take it back a bit before all your big festival stuff and that. How did you
Mm.
originally first get involved in music?
Oh, okay. So I've always been brought up from a young age with music. My mum and dad both very musical. My mum plays piano, very like she's like grade eight, like the best you can be. And she tried to put me through piano when I was like 10. She tried to put me through piano, and I wanted to learn guitar because that was just the way I was inclined when I was brought up, I guess. And I eventually started learning guitar when I was about 14, 15, and I fell in love with music in kind of like music class in school, I guess. Uh, Surrounded by other people the same age as me, and all my best friends were all involved in music, so I think that made it easier in a way. And then I learned bass because I thought it was easier out the two. So I wanted to be in the band. Big up again. Wanted to be in a band, so we did this whole, like we I think we even played the School of Rock song at the closing gig in year 11, like proper School of Rock stuff. Uh, and yeah, I think that's just where it stemmed from, really. And I've always wanted to it's always been a hobby and a side part music, but the long ambition is to make it a more sustainable long term career, I guess. Career.
Yeah, that's a big topic that, but I'll avoid that because it's
Okay.
such a big
Yeah,
thing.
good idea.
So how did you learn your craft then? Are you self-taught or did you have lessons at any point?
Oh yeah, so I had lessons from James Henderson, who is the god in my eyes. If you want to learn guitar, he is the man to come to. How many times are we going to do that? If you want to learn guitar, he's the guy to go to. He's just based in Stockton on Tees. So I learned guitar bass with him first when I was like 15, 16. And then I just wanted to learn my favourite songs. I wasn't really interested in theory. I kind of noticed that as I was going along. Like I'd come in and I'd be like, I just want to learn "Build the Broken Dreams" by Green Day, please, and that's about it. And then we just kind of went from there. And oh, Simon, you've paused on my end here.
Yeah, I can hear you still, but your video stopped.
Oh no, it's paused.
The audio is fine though. Like, let's see what happens. Does it come back to us?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. I just can't see you moving around. What I'll do on this recording is I'll click pause on it. So what I'll do is I'll just click resume now on the recording. So
Yeah.
it'll just have a bit of like us going,
Yeah, fine,
it'll
mate.
be like, hey, welcome back.
So let's carry on my answer. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We did almost get there, didn't we?
Oh no, you've paused again. For God's
Uh,
sake. Can I go on? Right,
um,
okay, cool. I'll just carry on. Yeah.
we'll do the next question, or like just because I feel like you kind of touched upon that. Why
Mhm.
do you think the creative arts are important?
Oh, it's a great question again. I think if you're involved in music or any type of art form, I think creative art is so important, and I think it's been made more significant in the past since COVID's came around. I didn't want to say the word COVID, to be honest, but I've said it. Sorry about that. Since it's came around, and I think the lack of funding that's been generated. I know there's been a little bit more now for venues such as the Georgian Theatre and stuff, but you see like stuff like the Westgarth, which is such an amazing venue in Middlesbrough, and it's been such a great hub for creative artists. Like James Bay's played there, Wolf Alice has played there, so many big artists, and it's under threat of going under. So it just makes you realise how important these venues are, and the creative arts is just it's just an integral part. It should be an integral part of education. It should be an integral part of just even if you're not interested, you should still learn about it. And because I don't think people realise how important it is, and the government definitely don't realise how important it is. Um, So yeah, I think to just answer, I think it is, especially if you are involved in music and you want to make it as a career. I didn't know anything. I didn't know much about the industry like 2 or 3 years ago. Now I feel like I've learned a lot, and I think all that help from like help musicians and stuff like that. They're a massive part of like giving advice for musicians and a massive part of the arts. So yeah, I just think there's a lot of factors involved, and you know if you want to be involved in music, you need to have that that know-how, I think, of how the arts works. Unless you and then you don't, and if you don't appreciate it. So yeah, I think that's answered the question.
Yeah, for me, like especially like with yourself and others I've spoke to already, like everyone is self-taught. Like
Yeah,
no one's really had any formal education in music. Like you had music lessons at school and stuff,
yeah,
but
I did. I just did music at school, and that was it. I didn't do it at college. I didn't do it at uni.
mm,
Um, Really because I was just interested in the practical side. I wasn't interested in theory. And then kind of songwriting's kind of gone down the same thing. I've just kind of just picked it up myself and just wrote a lot of rubbish songs. And you do that. You just practice, isn't it? And just like creating and like improving your craft, I guess.
yeah,
Mm.
and it's like those outlets, isn't it, for that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Big question now at the end. I don't know if you've seen the document I sent you, but how has
Okay.
lockdown affected your work and your future plans, Joe?
Oh, this could go on forever, honestly. So
I've got a
I want to.
stopwatch. It's all right.
I'm gonna start with a bold statement. I think if lockdown didn't happen, I would be in a much worse situation than I am now. Um, I got furloughed from April at like my place of work, so I was working full time in marketing, in like a 9 to 5 job, and I got furloughed from April, and then I bought a MacBook, alongside that and an interface, and learned how to record stuff
Your
from home.
video's starting to stop again.
Um,
Oh, there we go. We're
oh, have
back.
you paused? Still
Oh, it's
going?
fine. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I bought a MacBook and it's all right, don't worry. Bought a MacBook and an interface at the start of lockdown, and I learned like how to use Logic and stuff. And I had my mates who obviously have used it in the past, and I just started to like write more songs than I ever have done because I've never had so much time on my hands to write. And I think the fact that I live in my own house as well, I'm not living with my parents, so I'm not getting told at 10 o'clock at night, Joe, shut up, turn it down. I can just kind of do to an extent what I want. And I've wrote so many songs. I mean, I go back to like a Sam Fender interview when he said he just went in his shed one year and just wrote like 150 songs, which I find like amazing. And I've just kind of tried to like replicate that and just write as many songs as I can. Like whenever I can get an idea, it'll come to my head and I'll just try and get it down. And then I got made redundant, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately in October time, and alongside that, I've kind of been like looking for opportunities elsewhere, freelancing and stuff like music in a music capacity. So I work with like a mental health charity I won't name in Durham, and doing like it in a music capacity, which has been amazing since like October time. Um, I'm doing others like I've just got a lot more. I've just finding a lot more opportunities, and I think I went to a residency back in February before lockdown. And it made me aware. That was with Tipping Point, and that made me aware of all these opportunities that are available. And just because I haven't been brought up and I haven't been educated musically, doesn't mean that I can't do it as a job. So now I'm like, my current situation is I'm now self-employed, which is mental. If you told me this 6 months ago, if you told me this 6 months ago, you would have been like, I would have laughed at me and thinking, no chance, like it's not going to happen, because it's always been the overall aim is to get out of that 9 to 5 routine and being like have like working for yourself and like doing your own hours, and the whole all encompassing factor was to make sure I had more time to give my music an outlet to write more, to write more songs and more songwriting. And to answer the question, I think I'm the happiest I've ever been in that respect. um and if it wasn't for lockdown, I think I would still be in that same, I don't want to offend anyone, but to me, it was that same mundane routine of waking up, driving in the dark to an office, being in an office for a long time, then coming home, driving in the dark. I just found, at the time, I didn't really realize, looking back, I didn't realize that how bad it was. Not how bad, that sounds mean, because, I don't want to sound horrible, but it's just for me personally. And I think I've always been suited to that other lifestyle of being freelance. And now that I've got these opportunities, I'm like eternally grateful and thankful for lockdown in a way. And I know it's kind of a bit touchy to say that because of a pandemic, but it's been like the best thing that's ever happened to me, in all honesty. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. So some people have been positive, Joe. It's like
Yeah, it's okay.
it is a big, when stuff happens in the world that like changes a lot of things, like some people actually come out better, like,
Yeah.
and it's obviously really good for you that like that's happened. Thanks very much for your time, Joe.
No worries, Chase. Si.
Do that.